Hola amigos, this is Level 12 and today I'm not dead. So I've been gone for probably 2.5 weeks and I'm really sorry about that. I was preparing to go to a writing camp and I went to the writing camp for 2 weeks and now I'm back and I just want to say thank you for everyone who has subscribed to me while I was gone. One day it just blew up. I got like 5 subscribers in one day and I have no idea how, and I have lots of comments I need to get to. So, there was one person who wrote a comment and I tried to find it and put a heart on it because I really liked it. I couldn't find it, but I think it was on one of my Hitalia videos, which there's a bunch of them, but it was on one of them. So if that was you, I've been trying to heart your comment. I'm so sorry I haven't been able to do that. But anyways, I'm not dead, in case any of y'all were wondering where I was. And while I was gone, when I left to go on my trip, I had 11 subscribers. When I came back, I had like 22. So, A, thank you for those 11 other people that subscribed and the first 11 people. B, when I do nothing I get subscribers. It doesn't make sense to me, but I'm really happy and I'm a little emotional right now because I didn't think I'd get past 10. So anyways, that's not what this video is about. I'm actually also going to get very emotional, but for a different reason. Today we are going to be talking about everything wrong with Btooom. Now, Btooom, let's talk about what I liked, and spoiler warning. So I don't want to just trash all over this anime, because there were some, obviously, because I watched the end of it, there were some things that really drew me to the anime. It was mostly the ending. I thought, oh, if the ending is good, because I'm the type of person who's like, well, the meager plot, good ending balances out to kind of good. Anyways. But I would first like to say what I liked about this anime, so I'm not just trashing all over it. Everything has something good about it. I mean, it had to. It drew me into it. First off, the main thing that drew me in was the art style. It is very colorful and very pleasing. Oh my gosh. The one main reason I watched this anime was because one character had the most beautiful design I've ever seen, and it was Himiko. And, I might be biased here, but I found no flaws in her. Well, a little bit, but I didn't make an entire slide on her like I did for other people. The story premise, it's interesting about how they got there and how they have to fight. Now, if you don't know anything about Btooom, in Btooom, people are sent to an island because other people sent them there and did not like them. And Btooom is an actual, well, not an actual game, but a game in the Btooom universe, also called Btooom. It's kind of confusing. Anyways, and in that game, your only weapon is bombs. Different types of bombs called BIMs. B-I-M-S, plural, I don't know. It was, I watched the Japanese version and I never got a clear pronunciation on that, so reading the subtitles, it came out as BIMs. Anyways, and there are different types of bombs. There are tracking bombs, implosion bombs, timer bombs. They have special names and I'm too lazy to find all the names and anything like that. And I really thought using bombs to fight was cool because bombs are very deadly, and how anyone survives one explosion is very amazing, and running away from one is also very amazing. The setting, I said it was kind of unique, but I guess there are other anime that take place on an island survival setting. I just thought mixing in with the jungle rainforest heat would cause dehydration and making people kind of crazy in the island, even though some of them are already crazy. And also, when you have an island setting, you can have more tropical poisonous animals like poisonous dart frogs. And in this show they had Komodo dragons, which are really big lizards, and their bite is very poisonous. The voice acting was really good. The Japanese version anyway, it's been done or dubbed in Japanese, English, French, and German. Okay, it was good enough to be dubbed in 3 other languages, so something's going right with this anime. But, we are about to get in what I don't like about it. Okay, so there are so many slides on characterization. This is gonna sound very pretentious, but as someone who writes, characterization is a really big thing for me. And I just took a class in characterization, so I'm all up and ready to talk about it. This is just the broad strokes. There are about 3 to 4 more slides on characterization, and if you don't want to watch them, I'll put sometime in the video where you can skip so you can see my other reasons, but characterization was a big thing for me in this anime, which really made me not like it. So, first off, only about 2 to 3 characters that's supposed to say are very fleshed out. Oh wait, all but. I can read. All but 2 to 3 characters are not very fleshed out / follow the same tropes. Now, to be in Btooom, someone has to put you there, and a lot of the characters that were sent here, well, obviously they're gonna be bad in some way, but they were sent here because most of them had done previous crimes or was just kind of crazy, like Kira, some really fat dude whose name I can't pronounce, and some army general dude who I'm pretty sure they all did. Well, I know 2 of them did really bad things. But anyways, they all kind of fall on this trope, oh, they were a bad guy. They're meant to be here. The only character that I could find that doesn't really fall on this, other than Himiko, was this girl named Shiki who isn't even in this game. It's happened before 6 months earlier. So it kind of sets up a Hunger Game-ish deal where people are sent here like that, and it makes me wonder why no one is missing them. Anyways, and the villains are one and done, meaning they have 1 to 2 episodes dedicated to them, but then like Himiko and Ryuta, just completely demolish them, which is kind of bad because villains are meant to drive the story along and create conflict, and they created conflict for like 5 seconds and then it was like, oh, I'm a 22-year-old NEET who can do all this crap even though I can't get a job. And that falls into the next point. He has the easiest turnaround. NEETs are not in education, employment, or training, and they basically live at home and do nothing. This is a very, very easy thing to turn a character into from static to dynamic. And that's a character who changes in the story. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what that is. Yeah, yes, it is. I know my writing techniques. Anyways, he starts out as a NEET, and as immediately when he meets someone, he's very friendly to them. And usually NEETs are very antisocial people, which Ryuta was. However, on his wiki bio, it stated that he liked to be friendly, and I'm just like, no NEETs. True NEETs aren't like that. Either way, he was originally a NEET, which is a very easy thing to turn around from. You get a NEET outside, they will eventually become kind of forced to become social. One example where the NEETs stay NEETs is in No Game No Life. They still don't do with the sun very well. They don't like the outside, the big city place. It was very almost cool to see how they stayed NEETs even though they became kings and queens, and this guy just automatically 1-2 turns around, hey, I'm the big leader dude. Okay, and they also have this one I'm kind of meh on because every anime has a useless character, except this guy was useless 24/7 until the very end when they needed something to happen. And then plot convenience everywhere. I hate animes that, like, they have a really good story, but then it's just plot convenience. And by that, I will get into it when we get to the villain slide and a couple other slides. This is just broad strokes. If this is alright for you, then skip to whatever time in the video that I put on the screen, because characterization was a big thing for me, and that is mostly why I hate this anime. Okay, now characterization in depth. So Ryuta Sakamoto is the main protagonist, or at least main male protagonist. I wouldn't count the girl as a protagonist, but they do whatever, personal opinion. Anyway, he starts out as a NEET, which I explained before, and those are people who don't leave their house. All they do is stay in their house, usually doing nothing, but sometimes playing video games or watching anime or doing something kind of not productive at all. And they don't contribute anything to society. They're mostly leeches, and basically that's him. However, when he goes to the island, now I will count that video games can make you quick-witted. However, that's another argument for another day. But I will get to that point in one moment. Somehow he gains extreme athletic ability while he's at the island. He is able to climb trees, he is able to fight really, really muscular dudes that are really fast and have training, but I will also get to that later and explain more in depth, because I have lots of issues with the characterization in this anime. Also, on to amazing strategies. I will admit that in the game Btooom, you need to have some kind of plan, and in a lot of our RPG, MMO games, you need strategies, which is why I suck at those types of games. I'm just like, hotkeys, come on, work. But I will admit that video games will give you good strategies. However, in real life, there is real life timing and real life people, and there is always that added factor you don't know what the other person is going to do. Which I think he's given a little bit of a hero complex-ish thing there. And he puts his neck on the line for complete strangers. Now, I won't lie, this kind of works for his character, I guess. Which most of what we first see of his character is very violent, very uncaring for others, and he puts his trust in others kind of quickly despite what he's been through in the past with trusting people, especially his best friend who slept with his crush. Just gonna leave that out there, that he immediately trusts Tara and Himiko despite not fully trusting his mom or his best friend after he slept with his crush, which I can understand why he wouldn't trust him then. But anyways, he continuously leaves his first partner, which is Tara. I think that's how you pronounce his name. I'm not good at pronouncing names sometimes. He continuously leaves the guy, even though the guy near the end begs him to stay, and he goes off to save this girl that doesn't even like them. That was the reason she came. Now, one time he leaves, he goes to get medicine for the guy and food, but one of the times he left him, I would have just stayed with the guy and let the girl, kind of just stay where she was, because, And near the end, he has convenient delusions of his best friend, which this puts up another roadblock for his character. It's another obstacle to overcome. He's already had to overcome that he can sometimes lose himself in battle and think that he's in Btooom. And he also overcomes noting that he's leaving Tara a lot. However, after he confronts Oda, which was his best friend back in high school before he slept with his crush, he has convenient delusions of this guy as he's struggling with his feelings for Himiko, who, by the way, is 15, and Ryota is 22. Anyways, that's another thing for another time. And he keeps on having these things in his mind that tell him to do it. And I'm just like, these things have never bothered you before. Why are they suddenly bothering you now? I don't think finding your best friend after all this time, if you've forgotten about him and haven't thought about him once since you got to the island, suddenly seeing him and spurring those emotions shouldn't really, to me, don't really make sense. It's convenient. It's kind of like, and this is... Again, I'm not trying to be like, oh, I took a writing class, I know all about characterization, but I got some feedback from someone who's published novels and said that sometimes anger, even though, like, if you hate this guy, can still be convenient. Like, the character I had, he didn't like his adopted sister. He found a deflated soccer ball and he automatically assumed it was her. That's kind of convenient anger. It's conveniently pointed to someone. And when he sees his friend, it's very just convenient how every time he's with Himiko, he automatically thinks that she's going to be stolen away, or that, if he doesn't make a move, something will happen, which I didn't like that. I didn't understand why he suddenly became a roadblock. Anyways, characterization. Kiyoshi Tara. Now, he's the dude that did nothing for many, many episodes. The one time he was smart was when he told Ryota that they shouldn't show their BIMs or bombs because that was their trump card and that was what they had hidden. And they could never fully trust each other if they knew what the other had, which I thought that was kind of... I got it, but at the same time I didn't get it. I just thought that was a kind of smart thing on that guy's part. He also makes for very confusing on how many chips they have, because I knew he was collecting the ones along the way that Ryota kind of refused to get, and however later when the Date guy comes along, it's very confusing how many chips they have, because they state, oh, I have this many chips, and then I'm like, are y'all counting the chips? I'm sorry. Are you counting the chips that that Tara got, or are you counting the chips that I didn't see y'all get? And maybe that was just because I finished this anime in like 2 days. That may be part of that reason, and I watched episodes really late at night, but still, I would very much like if you could have been less confusing on how many chips y'all have. And also, in the final 2 episodes, he makes for a final show in the end. And by that, he's delusional, he's been poisoned by Kodomo dragons, he's sick, he's scared, he's all these things that weigh on your mental state. He has all these things, and then he has a delusion of his family. Now, he's a very nice guy to Ryota and Himiko when they first meet, and he even like saves Himiko, which is the one like manly thing he did in this show. Anyways, then he has a delusion of his family, and they say, and like they tell him like, dude, come home, kill the other people, come home, basically. And then he suddenly gains the strength, despite being poisoned, despite taking expired medicine. He becomes like this antagonist dude, and he states, oh, I have all these chips, and all I need is y'all's, and then I can go home and see my family, my wife, my son. And then in the end, he uses his homing devices, which they're not very powerful bombs. They're mostly so you can find the person, and when the explosion happens, you can expose where they are hiding. And just in the end, he dies just as quickly as he becomes this strong, powerful dude. And I'm just like, okay, I didn't like how you built him up, and I didn't like how you took him down. This show had 12 episodes. What it tried to do in 12 episodes was not good at all. And in the manga, the ending was so much better, which I will get to that later. But this show either needs a second season, or it needed to be longer for this final show to make sense, because it literally happened in 1 episode, and I'm just like, you can't do that. This guy can't be weak for like 11 episodes, and then on the final 12, he's like this amazing dude who suddenly regains his strength and has moral conscience. Because I don't think he had moral conscience when he was collecting the chips in the beginning. I kind of felt like I knew he was collecting chips, and at first I was like, okay, I don't think he's telling the Ryota dude that he has these chips. And it kind of sets him up as a distrustful guy in the beginning, but then to just suddenly snap after everything they've done for him, even though they do leave him, but for most of the time it's for good reason. He suddenly just becomes crazy, which I didn't like. Alright, time for the villains, which this show needed to do better with. So the first, well, I don't know if these are in exact order, but let's say they are for convenience sake, because this show has lots of it. Anyways, so one of the first villains we meet is a little dude named Kira. He's 14. Okay, first off, he's 14, but the girl Himiko, she's 15, and she just... The Kira dude looks like 12 and she looks like 18, but whatever. Japan. Anyways, the Kira kid, he's sent to the island because he is very, very violent. He killed and then raped like 3 to 4 women, which I can't... It goes into that argument, are you born bad or are you bad by environment, because his dad would beat him and sexually abuse him, which is terrible. I feel bad for the kid in that regard, but he did kill and rape 3 to 4 women. So anyway, he's intellectual, and he's interesting in the fact that he's also played Btooom. A lot of people in this show played the game Btooom. Not all of them, because when Ryota was trying to talk to one of the other villains about it, he was like, kid, you've played too many video games. He's, for 14, again, he's a really great fighter, which is part of why I like him, part of why I don't. He's, obviously when you live in an abusive household, you kind of learn by your abuser, and I mean, he killed 4 women. So he's got something up his sleeve in the realms of fighting. And I kind of wish there had been, because he was like one of the smartest villains, and he kind of reminded me of, not only because of his name, but of the final, showdown between Light and, who was that? Nier. Yeah, his name was Nier. I kind of like that final showdown between them in the end of Death Note, and I kind of wish something like battle of the intellectuals of who have played Btooom. That would have been a better showdown than between Ryota and Tara. Also, like, just, the battle between Kira and Ryota was really good. Like, Ryota slipped into this mental state of instability, and Kira was just unstable to begin with. He lost his mind long ago. Like, the first time we see him, he's killing 100 frogs. Like, dude, calm down. Can't even believe he found 100 frogs to kill. That's what got me. I would have really liked to see these two fighting again, and for Ryota to have another mental break, and to see how he battles Kira, because he almost killed the kid. What he did instead, when the battle was over and Kira was winded, I don't want to say wounded, because I don't think he was winded, he ties the kid using his sweatshirt, he pulls it over his hands, and he ties him to a tree and leaves him a Snickers bar. And he says, "I won't kill you," and takes his bims, but he can't use them anyway because he has to kill the dude to use them. But anyways, I would have really liked to see this kid more fleshed out, and maybe have him, even though it's highly unlikely, kind of see the error of his ways, or kind of miss his dad when he did kill, or something like that, or realize he's becoming his father. Something a little more with his character there. Alright, Masashi Miyamoto. Yep. Names. Okay, he's quick. He's quick-witted. He's quick just in general. He's ex-military. He's very smart. He's very athletic and has combat experience. He is an ex-Japanese special ops force dude. Something like that. I'm very, very lazy when it came to memorizing what he did. Yet somehow he is overpowered by a NEET and a 15-year-old girl. When we first see him, he is with Himiko on the island, and they're just battling. Well, no, they're not battling. They're in a group, and he kind of loses his regard for everyone in the group, and he just wants their chips, when she does get one of them. Anyways, and so later, after Himiko loses the guy and loses the fat dude she was with, she meets up with Ryota, and Ryota goes out and, I can't remember how this battle went, but I think he stumbles upon Miyamoto and the lawyer dude who was with Kira, and he accidentally leads them back to their, the base that they had. And so Miyamoto sees the girl, takes her hostage, and thinks he kills Ryota, and back they go to his little home, and life happens. He tortures the chick, and stuff happens. Anyways, so after intense battle scene, which I can understand why the lawyer was overpowered. He was crazy, he was on drugs, he lost his mind, and, you know, I can see that, and he had terrible bomb placement. Anyways, then, skip, Miyamoto takes Himiko hostage, and Ryota is left, fighting hand-to-hand with him when Miyamoto requests. He drops his knife, he drops Himiko. Ryota goes for the knife, which Miyamoto anticipated. He overpowers Ryota, and he's about to kill him, when suddenly, because this chick has been so welcoming to Ryota, sarcasm, she suddenly jumps on his back. He pushes her off, but then Ryota, pretty sure it was Ryota, who has a bomb, or a BIM, whatever it's called, pushes it, and then suddenly, like, it's a gas bomb, and it's like that type of gas in the Hunger Games that just killed everything. And so Ryota and Himiko make it out alive through a hatch in the roof that's open, which also convenient. And then the guy, he gets horribly disfigured. He's nothing but muscle. His skin has been melted off. And then he tries to get Himiko to fall back in the gas, which I kind of thought her leg got caught in the gas for like a quick little second, but you know, convenience. And then this dude is just overpowered by teens, and it's so annoying. Like, this guy was so smart. I kind of wish that he kind of killed Ryota, and Himiko would have had to fend for herself and become a stronger character and realize her fear, get over her fear of men by herself, and just kind of like have a ghost of Ryota there encouraging her on. And also just that her sudden, like, throughout while she was in this place, Ryota had figured out that he married her in the game because she also played the game, and that was why she saved him, because she was like, oh, it's my husband, but I'm still going to be mean to him later on and not be nice. Ugh! Hate it. Anyways, Nobutaka Ota. He is an old friend of Ryota, and obviously he slept with his crush. Therefore, Ryota becomes a NEET. I feel like that's the reason he became a NEET, that his trust in the one person sent him into a world where he couldn't be safe, I guess. And the only safe place was his room. And then suddenly he just presents an issue for Ryota. Now, by issue, I mean after Ryota. The battle between them was fine. I kind of liked how they used the depth perception thing, but it was after he died that is my issue. Suddenly, Ryota has these visions of this guy and the girl he had a crush on. And Oda is just there whispering in Ryota's ear, you need to get this girl. You need to get this girl, or you're still the failure you were in high school. And I'm just like, if that had been an issue, like a major issue in this dude's mind, we would have seen that earlier. And, maybe he was a trigger for Ryota, and that's what spurred these memories. But I'm not buying the triggered thing. I'm just not, and maybe that's just my poor judgment, but I'm not buying the triggered thing in this dude's mind that's suddenly killing. Did he kill him? I can't remember. I feel like he killed him, or he did this dude considerable damage. Anyways, and then it's just in his mind, this dude's whispering in his ear, and I'm just like, I feel like this would have been a bigger issue before, especially since he, you know, married this girl in the game, he liked this girl. I feel like in the back of his mind, that would have been his trigger, that he's too afraid to go after this girl, and so the Oda in his mind is just telling him, go get the chick, or you're gonna be a failure. Anyways, that's my beef with Oda. And finally, for characterization of the villains, we have Date. Date was this doctor dude who was very manipulative, cunning, and somehow goes unnoticed by Himiko. Even though Himiko met Shiki and Shiki told her that, oh, this doctor dude tricked my heart and this is why you shouldn't trust men, which is another... I kind of understood the Shiki Himiko thing. I kind of liked how, like, we have two chicks that hate men. Whatever. I didn't put that in here, so I'm not going to talk about it. And in the end... Okay, so let's go with some backstory. So, 6 months, a year or so prior to what happened, Date and Shiki worked in the same hospital. Long time ago, let's just put it that way. Long time ago, Shiki and Date worked in the same hospital. Shiki was a nurse and Date was a doctor. Shiki had a great respect, and I will go as far to say a love interest in Date. However, Date had a very, very bad malpractice lawsuit filed against him, and Shiki was like, oh, I'll help you cover up the evidence because I know you're a good guy in the end. And Date ended up using her as a scapegoat. Now, Shiki herself sent him to the island. Alright. And Date... I don't know who's... I'm pretty sure lots of people wanted Shiki to go to the island because she was claimed the scapegoat. But anyways, they are both sent to the island. And Shiki still has some kind of respect for him, even though... I guess this is both Shiki and Date on this characterization thing right here, because that's my issue with Shiki. She's falling in love with him again, time and time again, even though he's, you know, kind of bad. He's a douche. Anyways, so then Date manipulates her into helping him get all the bombs, seduces her, all of these other stuff. Anyways, you need like 7 to 8 chips, and they had gotten the sixth chip, and the chip in your own hand counted as 1 chip, so everyone started off with 1 chip. So he had homing bombs, and they were like, oh, we have 6 chips, what do we do now? And so the guy was like, I'm sorry, Shiki. He homes the bomb on her, and she tries to block it with her hand. Now, homing bombs, as I said before, are not very powerful. So it only exploded her hand. And he's like, oh well, I guess you'll die of blood loss. He picks up her bomb, or her chip. And then the helicopter, because they're watching this. The company that sent them there are watching this. So they come and get him. Shiki is left on the island because they can't track her anymore, because she doesn't have her chip and they thought she was dead. The chip pops out when it can no longer feel a pulse, and I mean when your hand's disconnected, there's no pulse. However, she lived with, only 1 hand, which unless she cauterized the wound very, very early on, she should have bled out because there's a major vein in there. Anyways, science, logic thrown out the window with this. Anyways, later on, Date comes back. Himiko doesn't notice that he's a bad dude. No one notices that he's a bad dude, and Himiko kind of had her suspicions about him when he said he was trying to save her by throwing a bomb, even though it would have, yes, killed her attacker, but it would have also killed her. I'm surprised she didn't, well, she did try to speak up earlier, but Ryota was like, no, he's a doctor. He will save our friend. He good. I'm like, bruh, you're too trusting. Before you could put your trust in no one, but now you're too trusting. Bruh. And then he tries to kill everyone. And here's another issue I have with Ryota. This guy was just a problem for me. The guy sets up a bomb. I can't remember if it was a timer bomb or a bomb that he sets off with a switch. But he set off a bomb in a briefcase Ryota had. And immediately the bomb went off and episode ends. Himiko looks like she's about to cry. And then Ryota's alive. Just in the episode after the bomb went off, he's like, oh, I ducked and covered into a little chute. And I'm just like, I would have so much liked it if you died. If this guy had died, Himiko's character would have had so much change. Oh my gosh. I hated how Date produced so many problems for so many other characters. I mean, he was a good villain. I'm not saying he was bad. It was just the characters around him became worse with him around. And then in the end, when, Ryota's come back, Himiko is like being really cool. Shiki comes out with her little scythe or sickle or whatever. And she gets on top of him and she's about to bring the thing down, but he starts crying and begging not to be killed. He does that so many times. He so many times just begs, don't kill me. Which I'm just like, dude, I don't like you. And then she's like, okay, I won't kill you. I still love you. And then she nurses him back to health. Dude, like, this guy is so terrible, but you're gonna nurse him back to health? And I'm like, maybe this is love. Maybe because I haven't experienced a love like this, I don't understand. But I'm just like, no, dude, come on. And this guy brought out some of the worst aspects in the show. And I hated this guy. Well, I hated what he did to other characters. So, also, Btooom just had some confusing bits. The subplot with the Btooom company, I had no idea what they were doing. I think they were making a TV show, but that was never fully explained. It was brought up in like the 7th episode, which the show is halfway over. And just, come on, explain that. That was such a cool thing, and it was just, like, why are they even on the island? Which, I'm gonna get to that. How many chips the main group actually had, / where did they get all of them? This goes back to me. This was kind of my fault for not remembering where all their chips came from. But how many chips Tara had and how many chips the group knew they had was very very confusing. Especially when some of the people were trying to calculate how many chips they could get if they killed this person by knowing how many chips the other people had, and it just threw me off the entire show, and I eventually just said, you know what, mine? Just roll with it. Just roll with the numbers they spout at you. Which kind of just... I felt a little empty on that front, but I will admit some of that could have been just my fault of watching so many episodes in a row and watching it very, very late at night, which I don't recommend. Why people were being sent to the island is another issue. Like, it's never, like, okay, the company sends out letters to people they know that they know that some people have a grudge against another person. That's completely explained. But why was the company sending out these letters? What was their motivation to just kill people? And two examples I have where it is explained in Jigoku Shoujo, which translate to Hellgirl, which I would recommend watching. Hellgirl, or she gets revenge on people because she was brutally murdered, and she got revenge on the people that killed her, and she kind of just wants to help other people and get revenge on those people. Another example is the Hunger Games, which is a better example because it's people pitted against each other. In the Hunger Games, they have the Hunger Games because there was a revolution in the past, and by sending in teenagers, they're showing the people that the capital can do this, that if you start another rebellion, it will be people killing each other. That is why they have the Hunger Games. Btooom, it's never explained why they are there, why the company wants them there. It's not to rid the world of bad people. That's very obvious. I'm pretty sure the company just wanted a TV show and to see real life human interactions to make their game better. Which, just, come on, dude. Have something better. Have something morally sound. Anyways, the ending. Okay, now. The ending in the manga was so much better than the ending in the anime. In the anime, it's 100% left up in the air. Like, you don't know what happens to everyone in the end. In the very end, while they're playing the ending theme song, it shows the rest of the players as they are about to rest for the night. Just everyone that's still alive, and even people that aren't named, because they took, like, I think 50 people to this island, and you saw, like, less than a handful of those people. And it's just everyone resting, and I'm just like, is this it? Are they just gonna stay on the island? And then it shows possibly Ryota's biological dad coming to save him, saying, I will avenge you. And I'm like, Dad, you were not here for his entire life. Get out. I'm not a big fan of how parents can think they can just leave their child for years and then come back and be like, hey, I'ma be your father figure now. I did not like how it was just suddenly, oh, this is his dad coming to save him. I'm just like, that would have made for a better ending if we had like 2 to 3 more episodes. This show could have actually saved itself. Also, Ryota 22 and Himiko 15 decide to become a couple. And I mean, when you marry someone in a game, you have no idea who they are. You think they are that character, which, I played games before where I talked to people that were way older than me, and I had really interesting friendships with them. Would I be friends with them in real life? Highly unlikely. But it's just, there's a difference between an in-game you and a real-life you. In-game, this is personal experience because I used to be a big Mabinogi player. I don't do it anymore because it takes, well, A, my computer's really slow at running games like that. Also, I don't really have time to play it. Anyways, Mabinogi was this game where you could be anything and do anything. So, I was an elf, and in games I like to be kind of like the weakest thing you could be, even though elves were not as weak as humans, but they were really small and really cute, and I like being elves, and I got her hair pink, and she looked adorable. Sorry, reminiscing. Anyways, and in games, I usually like to be kind of helpless, because in real life, at least in school, I'm not helpless. I take the role of leader. I do what I can. And, like, in game, I can understand how your character are different. I mean, it doesn't matter if you marry someone in game. It doesn't matter. It's not real. But for these two to just suddenly be like, oh, you're a minor, but I like you. And I'm just like, age. And then she just had an issue with guys in general. I'm just like, she suddenly well, I mean, I wanted her to get over her fear of, guys, but I didn't like how, I kind of wished it was more of a mentor and student relationship than a romantic one, because hormones running around in situations like these are not my cup of tea. I didn't like how the show was like, sorry, I just ate a cookie. How shows were like, oh, how shows like these can be like, oh, extreme factors, people of opposite genders, let's roll out here. And I'm just like, come on, have some mentor-student relationships. Those are good relationships. Anyways, that is my beef with Btooom. Now, I don't want to deter you from watching the anime, because it's, for all that I said was bad about it, it's not 100% terrible. The things I said that I liked were really good. The show did really well. It had some really high points and some really low points. And some people may not find issues, not find issue with what I had issues with. And I kind of, want to hear, if any of y'all have seen Btooom, I want to hear your opinions on Btooom and how you took the endings and how you took how the characters were handled and all this other stuff. But just please be respectful, because I know I might not have the most popular opinion, because this anime in some people's eyes is really high ranked, and in other people's eyes it's just, they had the same issues I did, like with characterization. I will argue to death, though I won't in the comments because that's pointless, but in person, civilly, I would argue to death that the characterization in this show was really, really bad. Anything else I'll discuss, because like some things are just personal to me. Anyways, as I said at the start of the video, I'm gonna get emotional again. Oh god, emotional me. Thank you for everyone who's subscribed to my channel while I've been gone for literally a month. Oh my gosh, I'm such a terrible person. I wanted to do like a video almost every day. Gosh, my plans for June went out the window. It's July now. That's scary. My summer break's almost over. And I want to talk about when summer break is over. I will, when summer break is over and if my computer in my room works, I will only be able to do one video a week. And that is prepping the video on Friday and actually recording and editing on Saturday. However, that's when school starts back, and we have to go through all of July and most of August before that schedule happens. And there's going to be a bunch of breaks in between there we have and any day that I have a break, I will do a video. So I would just like to say thank you to everyone who's subscribed and stuck with me through like the epitomous YouTube channel that I have. I know my earlier content is terrible, just awful. God, why did y'all watch me back then? But I would like to thank everyone who, you know, I have 21 subscribers. I'm a terrible egotistical person for doing this now. I have 21 subscribers. Anyways, I would like to thank all of you who have stuck by me and just been really, really nice to me, and just yeah, and y'all don't have to like the content I put out. Y'all can tell me. That's another thing. What do y'all want to see? I like doing top 10 lists, and I like doing skits. I don't know if any of y'all even watch these. I didn't too much like doing the Vocaloid story explanation stuff. The first one I really just wanted to do because I love those songs. The second one I did was because my friend Joanna requested, and I have some other songs I want to do, but just, I don't know, that series is very personal for me because I like interpreting stuff, and I love Vocaloid. I bought it. $38 shirt of my youth, but that's besides the point. I should have checked the shipping charges before I clicked buy, but my fault. So just tell me what y'all want to see. If you like my top 10 list, if you like my skits, because I have cosplays. Oh my gosh, I have actual cosplays. I would love to dress up. I have ramen. It's my RLC from camp gave me ramen. Gave everyone ramen. Because, you know, when you're at school, you eat lots and lots of ramen. Anyways, so I would love to dress up as Deckham and just make ramen for y'all. If that's something you want to see, please tell me. Also, I have to figure out how to make ramen. Anyways, besides the point, I'm getting too emotional. This video is as long as it is. Please like and subscribe for more anime and otaku related content. Ciao, chicos!